Okay, so the next thing that I need to look at then, now that I've got a rough arrangement sorted out, quite happy with the arrangement. I mean, there's a few changes that I would make to it. As you can probably see, there's a couple of things that are missing. There's a couple of bits and bobs that are taken out, and the arrangement's changed from the last time that we actually spoke about the arrangement. Now, what I want to look at is EQ, because in this instance, I want to make sure that nothing's clashing with the kick drum. So what I usually tend to do is put a EQ on everything and take out the low end, but I need to find out where exactly the kick is actually hitting. So for that I use the spectrum analyzer. As you can see, again, it's following my voice just as normal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the kick track and we'll see exactly where that hits on. Okay, so we can see that it kicks in and around 67 and 167 hertz. Now what I'll tend to do is for things that don't need bass, like snare drums, the loops don't need the bass, the leads don't need the bass. What I'll do is I'll just drop an EQ on there. Now generally what I'll do is either use the main EQ8 or use an EQ3 to roll it off. So I want everything basically above 167 hertz to be removed off the majority of these tracks. So I'll just find one that has it. And we can see on the extra snare track it has it. So what I've done is I've also looked at the bass itself and seen that it hits usually in and around 210. So what I've done is I've clicked on here. This is just like a DJ style EQ, so either it takes the low, the mid or the high off, and where that happens is entirely up to you, because you can say from where. So the low end will be taken off from 250 hertz, so everything above that will be left in. So that's literally what I did. I clicked on L and that just gave me a snare drum, the extra snare part that I'll play alongside that again, but it won't clash with the kick. The kick will run by itself without any issues. Now the other important thing for doing this is it also takes away rumble from all the different sounds, because you don't want to have everything from 50 hertz downwards. So I'll do that on every track anyway when I'm EQing. It's just always have a dip at around 50 hertz. Then we go on to what's called side chaining, and I'll show you exactly how I did that with the bass track in just a few moments. Okay, so what I've done now, as you can see on the bass track, I've dragged in a copy of the compressor that comes with Ableton Live. Now with Ableton Live 7 and 8, it now gives us the opportunity to sidechain compress. Effectively what sidechain compression does is it dips the signal. So then we can use the kick drum to dip the signal every time the kick drum hits. So therefore we don't necessarily have to do an awful lot of EQ work. We can do very little actually by using this technique, but also it gives the tracks a bit of a groove that will run with the kick drum itself. So I'll just show you how to do that in Compressor now. This down arrow, you just click on it and it gives us some more options, and this one's called sidechain. So if I click on sidechain, I know that my kick drum track is called kick drum, so if I select input as kick drum, then that means that the kick drum sound is coming through the compressor. Now nothing's basically been set up, so I'm going to show you exactly how that looks in a moment. I'll just press play and let you hear the bass along with the kick itself. Now if I pull the threshold down while I'm doing this, and if I click on solo so that you can't hear the kick track and just the bass, you'll understand what I mean by sidechaining. So here we can see the kick. This is the kick, and it's just ducking the sound. Now if I put the kick drum back in, not only can we hear the kick drum perfectly, but it's also giving the bass line a little bit of groove. And that's what we mean by sidechaining. Now generally I will do that with the bass track so that it doesn't conflict with the kick drum. But also we'll do it with all of the loop tracks as well, so that the kick drum sits over them, but we get more groove and more pump out of the actual loops themselves.